In this video, we will be taking a look at SQL injection. SQL injection is a code injection technique that might destroy your database. It is one of the most common web hacking techniques. SQL injection is the placement of malicious code in SQL statements via a web page input. Now these are just the terminologies for SQL injection, but let's see what exactly happens. Here you can see an example. Let's say that in a website you have a user ID and password field. Now a bad user can enter some hacky user ID and password. So if you can see in the first scenario, when user enters a good user ID and password, it will select the user from the database with that user ID and password. So it has an equal to, and there it compares whatever the user passes as the user ID and password. Now instead of the user ID, if a bad user enters something like the colon or 1 equal to 1 semicolon / and star, and in the password they enter the star / So if you can see, the script from the select star has been altered with select star from users where user ID is equal to empty strings or 1 equal to 1. What 1 equal to 1 will do is that it will retrieve the list of all users from your database. So you can see how dangerous this can be. It will expose all of the users of your database. Now sometimes instead of select, if you are deleting a user, and let's imagine the user passes something like this, then it would be a nightmare to lose all of your users. So this is what SQL injection is. It exploits the parameters that you pass in your query. Entity Framework Core allows you to drop down to raw SQL queries when working in a relational database, because of which this could be exploited by SQL injection. The way you can prevent SQL injection is to pass all the values as parameters and not with an equal to and a quotation. Let's take a look at few examples so you will understand what I mean by parameters. Here in the first example, you see we are passing the user John Doe, but we are passing it into a parenthesis 0 and annotating. So here, even if the user is a bad string, it will be executed with the complete statement and all of the entries will never be retrieved. Another passing as parameter is in the link query. Here we are passing the search term, and the search term that we are passing, you can see that we are passing that inside the braces. So this is also passing it as parameter. Then we have the third scenario in which we are using the from SQL statement again, and here also we are passing directly inside the parameters. Finally, for the last example, we'll use the SQL parameter, and where we are storing a variable user with new SQL parameters, and then we are passing that user to our query. So this way, even if a user tries something bad, like passing 1 equal to 1, it will never work, because it will be 1 equal to 1 and it will show that it's a bad query and no results will be retrieved. It will just return an error. So now that you understand what SQL injection is and how you can prevent it, let's take a look at another attack.